Welcome to Thriver TV, the place to break free from narcissistic abuse with quantum tools and understandings. And today's topic is really big and it's so important because we can all have trouble with boundaries, which is stuff like, what are my rights? How do I express them to other people? How do I get people to respect my boundaries? How do I stop getting into arguments about them? And absolutely, how do I make them stick? And I'm really excited today because I want to share with you my story about boundaries and how if I can work them out and make them stick, you can too. Because I used to suck at boundaries. I was terrible at them. And now I'm a boundary boss and I'm going to teach you how you can be too. But before I go any further, I just want to let you know that myself and the MTE team are always trying to serve you better. And we're responding to your request to do live telecasts with you. So I'm so excited to say that we're going to be live on Facebook tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time in the US, which is 11 a.m. EST time for Australians. And I'm going to love having you there because it's such a great way for us to connect. And personally, it gives you an opportunity to get help for anything that you might be struggling with. So make sure you head over to facebook.com/Meltonia Evans if you'd like to join us. And there's a link in the description below for you to get there. Okay, so boundaries. You may want to get your pen and paper out, and don't be surprised if you start doodling and drawing paddocks and livestock, and in a minute that's going to make sense to you. You'll know that I'm actually quite kind of serious about that analogy. So to start off with, what is a boundary? What does it really mean? What it means is it keeps the good in and it keeps the bad out. So let's imagine a farmer has his livestock in a paddock and he's got a boundary fence around it all that keeps out the predators. It's an effective boundary. Now let's imagine ourselves. We're seeking to create and generate and preserve our true self. That's what we want our boundary to say yes to. And we want to uphold a no to that stuff, which is not our true self. So then, of course, we may ask, well, what is my true self stuff? This is what is the truth of you. And you need to get very, very clear about it in order to uphold that. And please know this, that the truth may shift. It can change as we evolve. And generally, when we know that something is no longer right for us, it starts to feel really wrong in our body because it's no longer a match for what we want and who we want to declare ourselves as. So I want to ask you this question. What is your truth now that you have learnt through narcissistic abuse that is what you want to uphold in your life as your true self? So let me give you some of the examples I identified as my reality after narcissistic abuse. Honesty was one, definitely kindness, loyalty, teamwork. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to connect to this right now as you watch this. If you're on YouTube, I want you to write in the comments below what you want. What is your true self declaration? Put it in print now. That's a powerful manifestation tool because we're all a powerful container that's co-generating these realities in our life. We're all in this together. So put that in. Put in your comments 1, 2, 3 or 4 things that you want as your true self function. Okay, so now I want you to imagine this. Let's think about this because it's important. What things does the farmer open his gate to? What does he let into his paddock? He allows in things like food and water, shelter, equipment that tends to the pastures. He allows in there that what will nourish and flourish his livestock that he's protecting. He doesn't allow in wild dogs and wolves. Likewise, when we get very, very clear on what our true self is, we don't allow in people that we know lie, cheat, steal, use horrible and hurtful comments, and refuse to play team, grow and evolve with us, because they would rather shift blame and make it all our fault. And if we let these people into the paddock with us, meaning our life, they tear us to pieces. And in fact, we fare no better than sheep faced with a wolf trying to convince it to be his friend. Why? Because these people represent our false selves, our shadows, our unhealed wounds that we're still dancing with to heal. And the illusion is that if we just defeat and change these people, that we'll be healed. But it doesn't work, because the truth is we must defeat our own wounds, our shadows within ourselves. We must accept them, embrace them and heal them, which means defeat them, overcome them. Otherwise, these people, our wounds in living, breathing flesh appearing outside of us, they defeat us. They take us down. And I want to share with you a very deep and personal story regarding my own boundaries on a topic that is very important to me, my work, my mission. Once upon a time, I carried the wounds and the beliefs that any love partner would be threatened by my success and abilities and would never accept me shining in the world. And mind you, this was long before I do what I do now. This was way back in the day with other things that I put my heart and my soul into. And I know that this is such a huge one for women. It plays out a lot in narcissistic relationships, because at first it seems that this person is so interested and supportive, and then they start to despise your success. And men, you could have absolutely the same thing going on. A woman thinking that you're marvelous because of who you are in the world, and then being incensed that she isn't treated as the center of attention all the time. And for me, this pattern I was living played out accurately. I had men very angry with the time that I put into my projects. And of course, by the time I got to narcissistic abuse, I had those men absolutely sabotaging me, making it virtually impossible to work effectively, keeping me up all night with arguments before important events, stating how angry they were when I had a project come up, that I was ignoring them, be jealous and accusatory about my exposure and people I was connected with, and the list went on and on and on. And because I was all squirmy inside and I felt guilty, because my mother had always served my father as soon as he wanted her attention, and because a part of me felt very wrong and that I was selfish pursuing my own dreams, I was very unclear. I'd try to fight for my rights, whilst at the same time I would make insane promises, hand over power and do all sorts of unreasonable, unhealthy things to try to appease these men. And I was of course miserable, trying to toggle men and success disastrously. And naturally, these men in my life were not interested in what I did. They would change any conversation that included my work, and it was like something that was not discussed, and any success I had, I would have to keep it to myself and dim down my light accordingly. It wasn't to be discussed in front of these men in any setting. So after narcissistic abuse, fortunately, I got very, very clear that my beliefs about men and success were rubbish. They were not the truth I wanted to live. Just as your painful beliefs about men, women and other people are rubbish and not what you want to live. And the number one rule in creating your true self that is going to be the truth of your boundary is this: stop creating your chosen reality from the one that you've already been living, because that is the biggest rubbish that we can do to ourselves. And yes, of course, I could have stayed stuck in, no man will ever handle me being successful. And I can already hear the good guys at home watching this gasping, oh my God, Melanie, that is so not true. I've always loved supporting my partner's success. I love being proud of them, and I love being their number one supporter. And you know what, you guys who are thinking that? Now I know you are the normal ones. You are the true self, guys. You are the ones I now declare is my normal. And the ones that weren't that were only my false self, guys. They were my wounds attached to this reality and rolling around in it. So as a part of this boundary talk today, I want to wake you up. I want you to stop condemning yourself to the life sentence of all men are cheaters, or all women take me for a ride financially, or all friends betray me, or people are jealous of me, or all people are just in it for themselves. Because these are your beliefs, and these are the people you are saying this to. Because I believe in you as my truth, my gate is wide open to you. And so, of course, you may ask, how do I stop believing that these people who I've struck over and over again are not real? And my answer is this: declare to yourself, life, God, source, whatever your version of a higher power is, wants for me what I want for me, my highest and my best. However, this power that is the engine behind all life force itself loves me so much, it doesn't override what I want. It simply loves me so much, it declares for me what I declare for me as my truth. And this is it. Because of this unavoidable system of energetic life, the spiritual and quantum recognition of reality as your emotional energy in motion, energy in motion experience. You are making up your entire life in every millisecond of what you choose to believe in. So hopefully this is a big awakening for you. Maybe you're starting to realize it, that you are declaring it is so. Things like narcissists are everywhere. Love relationships are only there to get hurt in. People never commit to me. Those who love me leave me. Whatever it is that you choose as your experience, as your reality, because you've already had it as your reality. And this is the grand truth here. Whenever we observe our life and state it is so, we are a victim to it. Yet whenever we look at our life and state this is not my truth anymore, we start becoming the creator of it. When we state it is so, it's in our paddock, and we start rolling around in it like a dog rolling in cow poo. And it means that we have reverse boundaries, meaning you're keeping the good out and you're putting the bad in. However, when we state that is no longer my reality, we get the alpacas onto the foxes. I don't know if you have them overseas. We have alpacas that protect sheep from foxes here. They're kind of weird looking llama creatures. And the alpacas are going to chase the foxes out of the paddock, and they stay out. Do you remember the film The Holiday? I really liked it. It was an awesome film with Cameron Diaz and Kate Winslet and Joe Black in it. And it's that scene when Jasper turns up in America and Kate realizes he is not her reality, and she turns the alpacas on his sorry ass. Because that pattern was done for her. And she ended up with Joe Black, who's a really lovely guy, who's just so sweet and genuine. That's what I'm talking about. This is what I found in my life. I never harnessed any alpacas when I looked outwards at other people being or doing this or that, or when I was trying to negotiate with them inside my paddock to try to change them. When I did that, I had no idea I could do any better. I had no idea I was creating the reality of the struggles, heartbreak and abuse because I let those people stay in my paddock. I had no idea that there were others who were different who I could let in. So let me continue on with my story about this stuff. Finally, I woke up and I stopped thinking that all men were not happy with my success. And I accepted that I had traumas and reprogramming inside me that was co-generating this experience. I realized I chose controlling men. I had terrible boundary function. I handed power away. I felt guilty and unsure of my rights to succeed in the world and have a successful relationship at the same time. Hardly a recipe for success in having a supportive man being the wind under my wings while I shone in the world. So I got very, very clear, and then I dated another controlling man, no surprise. Yet this time I was solid and sure, and I left him without a backward glance. He was not a match for me. There was no arguments or regret or thinking that I was let down or feeling hurt. There was none of, oh my God, I may never get the opportunity to meet someone again. God, that one used to haunt me so much, that belief. And it is an utter crock of crap, that belief. It's so not the truth. Rather, this time there was just the utter excitement of recognizing it and getting out. The alpacas had come in and cleared the paddock. Yippee! And I punched the air and said next. I knew that there was better where that came from in store for me, meaning from all of life, responding to my new chosen reality. So please know this, that is what our graduation is. This is when Source Life God, whatever your understanding of a higher power is, the energetic mechanics that pull the strings of life, says, okay, got that? That's not your reality. No more necessary. We're not going to send that to you anymore. You're done with it. So please know it is likely that you have to walk this in real time. You're going to have to get out there and be in the paddock, in amongst the crunchy and slimy cow patties, and kick out the people and things that you used to let in your paddock. You are defining your true self boundary walls, and as a result, you're creating your true life. Okay, so that success in my life did not stop here. It went further. Never again did I get a controlling man trying to stop my projects and pursuits. Yet I got men that were not interested and supportive of my big world missions. And I'd be doing a huge global summit or something incredible, and they would come to my place and make no mention of it or change the subject if I did. Then I grew to another place of deservedness. I realized I only wanted to date people who supported and congratulated me and recognized what I do and share a big life with me. I was only going to be with people who loved me enough to be my #1 fan. Not because my ego needed it, because that was my truth regarding a fully connected, loving relationship. And when the time came for that boundary, the person I delivered it to balked, did not recognize it, told me every other way they supported me and allowed my missions, and refused to acknowledge what I needed. Now, this is where this entire talk today is taking us to, the grand finale of a true boundary. But before I get to that, let's just retrace. A boundary is we keep the bad out and we let the good in. Keeping the bad out means that we no longer accept what isn't our truth. Letting the good in means we accept what is. And I got very clear. I was only doing a relationship where a man was interested, supportive, and sharing in my big life with me. I expressed this eventually after dancing the old way. I got it. I expressed this truthfully, calmly, and directly without you statements. Instead, I made the I and my statements. This is what I want. This is my truth. I know this is what I deserve. And I stated that it was okay for us to split up because we just weren't the right people for each other. I was clear, very content with that, and prepared to lose it all to get it all. I didn't need him to comply. I only needed to live my truth. And again, knowing there is more where that comes from, I know knew either he would step up or life would deliver. And in fact, I'd lost all attachment to him delivering because the answers hadn't indicated that at all. So therefore, for me to be true to my true self, it was time to move on with no arguments, negotiating, or drama necessary. Just, this is how it is. And the old me could never have done that. This is important to understand about you. You know, we can easily go into panic, feelings of emptiness, abandonment, that we're not worth it. I would have, in the past, relinquished my rights, tried to negotiate, attempt to draw him back in and make him get it, or even apologize for being too demanding and not being appreciative enough. Namely, I would have acted within the young emotional traumas that I've worked so hard on within my own body with NARP, with the program, to heal. But because they were no longer there and a solid, healthy adult was at the helm, I was calm. Anyway, that night he rang me up and said he wanted to go out for a drink and know everything I wanted to share with him about my business and mission-based life. He listened and he asked wonderful questions. He never made it about himself. And from that day forward, he became my #1 fan, and his interest and support never waned. Again, I graduated. Is this making sense? Okay, so one last recap before we finish, just so you get very, very clear about this. What is your truth? If you don't like your existing one, throw it out and create your real one. And at the same time, heal all of the parts of you with NARP that are stuck in trauma and pain that make you believe that that painful stuff is your life, including all your beliefs that that is what other people are and do. Instead, state what you deserve and heal all of the parts of you that get in the way of you standing firm in that. And then say no to all those people and things that are not that. And then start watching how your life and you together co-generate your true self reality. Okay, so if you want to get really serious about boundaries, deservedness, and becoming aligned with your true self, I really want to help you because it's changed my life beyond description. And I know it will yours too. And the results are very fast when you sort this out. Life will change 180 degrees for you instantly in many cases. So the first step is to sign up to my free 16-day recovery course, which includes an invitation to a healing workshop with me, a set of ebooks, and so much more. So to access these, it's really easy. Click the link at the top right of this video. And if you want to see more videos, make sure you like and subscribe so you get notified as soon as each new video is released. So until next time, keep healing, keep smiling, and keep thriving because there's nothing else to do. Lots of love. Bye-bye.